Greetings. Awesomeness. Greetings. DeMarcus. Nice to see you, DeMarcus. Give thanks and praises. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on. Yes, today we have a special show we're going to be focusing on. We're going to be talking and focusing on love, on Black love, y'all. But really, I say Black love, love is for everyone. Love is for everyone, every color, everywhere in the universe and beyond. The reason why I'm talking about Black love is because we as a people, it seems to be the ones having the biggest issues with really loving ourselves. So today we're going to focus on that topic, why it's important, what we need to reactivate, because love is free, it's everywhere, it's eternal, but we have to activate it in our mind, in our life, in our energy, with ourselves, with our family, with our loved ones. I talk about Black love because many of the other cultures, they let you know that they love themselves when you see the Indian women wearing their saris and their third eye in red. You know that even though they're in a country which is a melting pot, they are still loving their culture, loving themselves, loving their traditions. When you see Hispanics, you see they are still speaking Spanish happily. They're eating their arroz con pollo. They are playing their salsa and their merengue. You know they are loving themselves as a people. You see, loving their culture. We as a people, unfortunately, had a different experience when we came to this culture. This society, our culture was stripped from us. So our roots and traditions were stripped away, and we had to develop a new culture, yet we are still Black African people without all the information, but our DNA, our nature is still with us, and we have come into another reality, but we still have to energize love for ourselves. What does that mean? It means we don't shoot each other. We don't kill each other under any circumstances. It means we embrace our children. We take responsibility. The women and the men, we have to take responsibility for our children. They are our future. It means that we also have to take care of our elders. Ashe, it means we got to put the love back in love in our relationship. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we have to energize love, free, eternal. It is divine, Ashe. It is divinity, and we have to deal with each other in a loving spirit. Whatever it is we're dealing with each other, when we come from a place of love, we'll have better communication, better understanding, and a better outcome. Yes. So today I have a special guest, and she's going to talk about love, some different aspects of love. She's going to get kind of deep with it. I just wanted to give you the overview, but she's going to get into some different aspects of love, soulmates. She's going to tell you all about it. Her name is Ntumbe, and I'm going to bring her on to give her an opportunity to talk to us about love from a different perspective, from a deeper perspective. So let's see if we can bring her on the line now. Ntumbe, are you there? She's coming up. So I'm bringing her on to join us. Yes, she will be joining us talking about love. Yes, because we know we all need it. We know we want our relationships to work out. Yes, so we've got to do what? We've got to do what we need to do to activate it. And first of all, activate it with ourselves. Okay? How can we love others if we're not loving on ourselves? And there are so many ways for us to love on ourselves. Let me see if I can get our guest. Let's get our guest here on the call, because she wants to get all up in this conversation, and I want to bring her on. Yes, Ntumbe, I am looking for her to come into the call, and we are going to begin our conversation this afternoon. Ntumbe, are you there? I don't see you over here, but let me see if I can go all the way in. And I'm going to go and get her out. She's waiting right here in the wings to come on. She said she's a little shy. I see my Ashley's on the line. Yes. So in Toombe, just request to join me and I will bring you on the call. Yeah. Hi, my beautiful Ashley, my deity. How art thou? Yes. I'm bringing her on right now. I'm bringing my sister on. Her name is Ntumbe, and she's going to talk about love today. You know, we need love so desperately. So desperately. It makes everything shift. Everything. So let's see if I can just go ahead and bring her in this call. Oh, can she come in? Ntumbe, can you get on that call? I am bringing her in. Let's see if I can locate her. I am bringing her on the call. Yes. So all you need to do, let's see if I can bring her in. Yes, I'm striving to bring her into the call. And she was just waving. Can you just get that request? You know, this technology, this technology does all sorts of things. And it was working so perfectly a moment ago. Now I am striving to bring her into the call, and I am looking for her to come in and see if I can get her into this conversation. Okay. So, Ntumbe, just strive to reach in and request to join, and I will bring you on. Yes. Okay, here she's coming on now. I can feel her coming on now. And let me just share this with you until she can get on this call. Oh, I see you. I see the people waving in, coming in. Until she can get on this call, let's just see if any one of you has any ideas. Photo, show it right away. Any ideas will talk about why love is so important. Can anybody speak to that at all? Can anybody come on and speak to why we need love in our lives? Anyone at all? Yes. Can anyone come on the line and speak to that? Why do we need love in our lives? And why is it the key to everything? Why is it the key to every single thing? Yes, I'm here waiting. Okay, let's see. I'm here waiting. Okay, Tumba report. There. Oh, here she comes now. I think she's coming into the play right now. Oh, here we are. She's connecting. Look how look how divine you look, my beautiful sister. You look so divine right now, my beloved. Look how she's garbed and dressed beautiful in all of her regalia and my favorite blue lips. Thank you for your perseverance. Sometimes this technology takes us through a little whatever, but we are whatever, but we are determined to get in. So we got you now. So in tune, please speak to us. What is some of the things you want to talk about today? I understand that you have some information about the difference between the soulmate and the twin flames. Could you just explain what is a soulmate? What is that?
I'm going to jump right into it now. Soulmates, right? A soulmate are two different higher selves, right? We could say two different spirits or two different higher selves that make a pact, right? As spirit babies. Now, spirit babies, that's another story. You can check out my videos on YouTube about spirit babies. So the two spirit babies or two spirits or two higher selves make a pact to come down here and meet again as either romantically or as an exchange of information. Now, then we have a twin flame. Now, twin flame comes from the same spirit. It comes from the same higher self. So it's the same spirit that decides that they want to manifest themselves as a female energy and a male energy. So they literally, this spirit literally splits into two.
Deep.
So now, once this spirit comes down onto this earth, right? They start to remember that they are the same spirit. So with soulmate or twin flames, it's a matter of remembrance, and it's not a matter of searching. Now, so you can search, but it can build a dynamic of chasing. So that's why a lot of women feel like they're chasing the men. So that we have a lot of that going on right now. So now, how can you remember who your soulmate is or who your twin flame is? So in that case, you can you switch it through a spiritual practice. A lot of times it's through meditation, right? So when you meditate and you come into who you really are, we are really love, okay? We are this invisible energy of love. So once you meditate and you come into who you really are, that's when you start activating who you're supposed to, who you had a pact with, or who you are as this one spirit of a twin flame.
So you have to first figure out who you are. You have to develop your power, your realization before the flame is actually activated. Now let me just ask you, and to me, let's just take. I believe you're single. Are you a single woman?
Yes, I am a single woman.
So let me just ask you. So how and why do you consider yourself sort of an expert on love if you're single? How do you gather this information, and what taps you into this knowledge? Why do you feel comfortable to speak about this?
Excellent question. So I'm familiar with this question. Now, in order to talk about love, right? There has to be an experience of being loved. So I am in the stage of experiencing being loved. Right? So that's how I can talk about love. So I'm not just talking about love. I am what I'm talking about. So it comes true. So I wouldn't consider myself an expert or a teacher or a guru, because then you have to hold up that image. You got to keep holding up that image. Once you make a human mistake, oh my gosh, you're supposed to be a teacher. You know?
Right.
Right? So, I just say that I am in the stage of experiencing love.
Yeah.
Then talk about love. So I am what I'm talking about.
Ashe. This is so wonderful, because if we come from a space of love, you know, we come out of the ego, we come out of the fear, we come out of the jealousy. You know, we want for others what we want for ourselves. And when we're in a state of love, that's what we want for each other. When we see the negativity and the cattiness and the jealousy, it means we're really not loving who we are, you know, because when we realize that our life is a gift, that our life is a miracle, that our life is a blessing, then we're not trying to bring other people down. We're too busy loving our lives, you know, loving on our lives, beautifying our lives, discovering who we are, growing ourselves. So this is what we really need. And we have to realize that this is the first love. Before we can get to the other love, let's start with this love. And mainly, let's give thanks for the divine love that created us, you know. So that's what that's pretty much all about. And then once you get into that state, you definitely want to be able to meditate into attract your soulmate, you know, someone that knows us on a level deeper. Many of the relationships we have today, they're on the physical plane, just for how we look, just for that attraction, that's for that physical attraction. And many times those relationships, they don't last because they don't go deeper. They don't go deeper. They don't go deeper into a friendship, into a spiritual connection, something that's just deeper than what we look like on the outside. You know, we want something of substance. We want substance in our relationship.
Exactly. And another way to activate that substance in the fifth dimension, because right now we're in the physical dimension, the third dimension. Yeah. Actually, we're in all dimensions, but what we see visually or with our five senses is the third dimension. Now, you want to activate, if you want to activate your soulmate or your twin flame, we activate that in the fifth dimension where true love exists. Okay, and another way to do that is also being in your calling. There is something that you're called to do. I'm sure sometimes you're reminded by your way showers, your angels, whomever. Sometimes they speak through your loved ones. Your calling is actually the calling of love, a way to serve, because love goes one direction. And if you are called to do something, it's most likely something that's going one direction and serving the people. Now, if you are in that, you will activate your soulmate or your twin flame.
So what you're saying is when you're called to do a certain work, when you are actively doing your work, that is the best way
Yeah.
to receive that twin flame or that love. Because if we're looking for love here and looking for love there, and we're not doing the work that we came on the planet to do, that's putting the
Right.
cart before the horse. First, we have to get on our purpose. So is that what you said?
Right.
Once we're in our mission, on our purpose, doing our divine work, then we're in a better place to receive that divine love coming back at us. I should give
Right.
thanks. First things first, our purpose.
Right. Because you're tapping into who you are as love.
Mm.
So if you activate the other person on a deeper level in the fifth dimension to who he or she is as love, it's going to activate that.
Powerful. I love that. And I like this fifth dimension because there's so many dimensions to us. And we, our emotional level, our spiritual level, our conscious, our subconscious. There's so many levels to us, and we have to go deeper into who we really are. Okay, let me just ask you about this. What is the talk or the feeling? What exactly is agape love? How do we talk about agape love? What does that mean?
Okay, so I'm actually influenced by the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That Jesus, like if we don't know where Jesus is from, the part of the world that he is from, if we are because we are programmed to think that he's white or but he is of bronze feet and woolly hair, and he traveled all over the world, and he did travel to Egypt, and he studied Hermesia's thought, the teaching of thoughts. So his teaching, if you don't understand where he's from, his race, you're not going to understand his teaching. Now, when he says agape love, he's talking about the fifth dimension. These are the things that in Egypt is well known, the fifth dimension. So agape love is in the fifth dimension. Like I mentioned before, the third dimension is the physical realm, the five senses. The fourth dimension is higher than the third dimension, but negativity can still exist. Negative spirituality can still exist in the fourth dimension, even though it's higher than third dimension. And the fifth dimension is where you reach pure love. That's agape love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So the fifth dimension, it starts at the fifth dimension and it goes on beyond 6, 7, 8. But it starts at the fifth dimension. That's where you have no negativity, and it's just pure love, and that's agape love.
Mm-hmm. And that's
Right.
quite something to work toward.
Oh yes, it is the best to work
Good,
towards,
thanks.
because as I mentioned before, that's where you can activate your soulmate or your twin flame.
Mm-hmm.
You activate them from there,
Mm-hmm.
and work towards to fully being in a fifth dimension type of.
Mm-hmm. And we activate that agape love through our spirituality, through our meditation. And I like to think of that also as, we build a life on what we think as illusions, our job, our physical world. And we forget the spirituality, like, we forget, like, we don't see spirit move. When you see a paper bag move, that is spirit. We can't see spirit, but it's everywhere. It's our breath, it's our breathing, it's our life force. We don't think about water, but without water, imagine life without water. Things that are we get used to these things. Water, the rain, taking a shower, we just take for granted that we're having water. We just take the natural things for granted. Natural things like love. When you see a baby with the mother and the baby's looking up at the mom, like the mother means everything to that baby. That's her. And the mother looks at everything to that baby, there's that natural love, and that's what we need to activate. That's where the magic is. That's where the divinity is. That's where the infinite is, because the Most High is infinite, and we are all expressions of the same Most High in different bodies, in different vehicles, and we forget about the spirit that animates us. So we need some more substance right now. And truly, I think what you're saying, and I feel what you're saying. We've got to activate some more of that love. Now I understand, and I wanted to thank. I thought Brian, and I see my beloved Queen Amira give thanks, and my Josh Starfly and Brian. I see our people zooming in on us. Give thanks for just supporting and coming in. We're coming on the conversation of love. Yes, it's powerful. You can't stop love. You can't see it. You can't hide it. It is invincible. And this is the power that we have to move with right now. I know one of the works that you were called to do, beloved, in Tumbe, you work on designing bridal wear. We talked about refortifying marriage. We're building empires through building marriage. And I understand that you build dresses for wedding parties for the bride and for the bridesmaids. How did you come into that, and why do you think that that's so valuable? How can you speak to that?
Okay, so what it is, I just had this urge, and I think it's coming from my angels or my way showers, to talk about love, to have conversations about love, and I didn't really take it so seriously, so I just decided to do bridal wear. I was like, well, that has to do with love, right? Because I also had the desire to design, so I started to design bridal wear, which is one of these. This dress is also one of the designs, to
Beautiful.
a design,
Yes.
and the headdress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so moving along, I had this epiphany. As I mentioned, I do believe Black Jesus, right? Epiphany that he came down here, right, to tell us that we are just like him. We are love. We are already like him. That we don't need to try to be like him. That's like going around in circles. It's exhausting, as a matter of fact. But we are like him. So to take the steps to remember that we're like him. Mm-hmm. So that's what we should be doing right now, as opposed to trying to be like him, mm-hmm. right? And that's what happens actually in marriage. That's what happens when you become one flesh. Your partner will bring out the worst in you, okay? They will know exactly which buttons to press, but you chose each other so that you can shed and remember that you are loved. Take those steps to remember that you are loved and you are exactly what Jesus represents.
Mm-hmm. See, I hear what you're saying on that, and I also know that before we build a nation, we have to build a family. When we see there are many different spiritual houses. Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach, that's one of the spiritual houses. All of the different spiritual houses give us information. So I would like to mention that Scripture also said, out of the mouth of babes comes knowledge and wisdom. We can gain wisdom from Islam. We can gain wisdom from Buddhism. We can get wisdom from Hare Krishna. We can gain wisdom from Rastafari. The universe is unlimited information, and we need all of this information to help us move forward and not be locked, because the universe is not locked. It is open information. And we are coming to the point now where we have to build our nations. How can we build a nation if we can't even build a family? In Africa, when a man and a woman come together, they're uniting two families. It's not just this woman and this man. That's why the marriages are more inclined to stay together, because when you build with this man's family, with your family, now the whole family is involved. So you have the support of the whole family. When we look at the ankh, the womb, the circle, and the phallic, and the children, this is the family structure. The womb, which is the mother, the phallic, which is the man, and it's the family. You know, and
Yeah.
in Western culture, we get two phallic symbols. Where is the mother? We have to put the mother into the equation. You see, and if
Exactly.
we as women are loving ourselves in a higher way, respecting ourselves, and our men are loving themselves, you know, if we're rising up like queens and our men are rising up like kings, then we will have those royal unions, those respectable unions, and this is what we can build our society on. We're building. We just cannot keep expecting our oppressor to do anything for us. And in fact, that is the wrong mindset. If someone does not like you and they've shown you that they do not like you in so many ways, why are we still asking them to feed us and to help us and to clothe us and to build? We have to cut that off and build for ourselves. You know,
Exactly.
starting with the marriage, starting with the family.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
So I'm so thankful
Yes.
that you are in this industry. You know, we're bringing the marriage back. It seemed that marriage got played out. But how can building a nation get played out? How can love get played out? Love is not going out of style, y'all. We got to bring love
It's
forward because we need love. This is one of the reasons our women have gotten so damaged and so hurt and gone away from nature is because we were looking for love. And sometimes looking for love in all the wrong places. You see, we have to look at ourselves. We must look at
yeah.
ourselves. Hmm.
Yeah.
So you build
Yeah.
your attires are for the bride and the bridesmaids. Is that what you
Yes.
do?
So they are from bridesmaid,
Hmm.
and another spiritual aspect of it is that so now that I had that epiphany, the colors and the patterns, they're all inspired by women's spiritual aspects,
Hmm.
such as peace, love, joy. As you can see, the colors are very joyful. As you can see, the patterns have the circle as two circle patterns because it to me it represents that union with God.
Hmm.
You know, the triad, right?
Yes.
The union with we're all one
I,
in reality.
and we're wearing our colors too. We're wearing the pink for the joy. You know, the green is for the
Yeah.
heart chakra. You know, so
Now,
the circles for the womb, for the union, for the circle, for the continuation. All of these things count. I have to see you have on the blue for peace and tranquility. You know, I see that
yes,
one of
that's
our
right.
list was watching us was asking, do you think the high divorce rate will go down? She says it's hard for women in my generation to find someone who wants to marry and have family. And we know about that because this society has
Mhm.
pretty much have made marriage like it doesn't exist anymore. That's why we're coming forward to remind the women, to remind the men, how can we build our nation if we can't build our family? You know, if we don't want to,
So,
you know, go ahead.
yeah, so I have good news about that. Since as a universe, right, we are raising our vibration. So we're going from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. So that's at love. So how that's going to manifest? We're going to have a lot of soulmates, twin flames. They're going to start to come together just because of the vibration of the universe.
Mm.
So divorce is going to fade out. So the opposite is going to happen because in the third dimension, it was in low vibration. So that energy allows a lot of divorce. So now we're going to a high vibration, the fifth dimension. It's going to be about pure love.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we also see, on the other hand, because it's going into pure love, we will also see that nothing will stay in the dark. So some who are in this relationship in relationships right now,
Hmm.
they will have more truthful relationships. They may have confessions of infidelity. They may have all these confessions
Hmm.
because to life, but it's going to lead them to a better relationship,
I share.
a more truthful relationship. This is where we're headed right now
This is where we're
because we're vibing.
Yes, Jay Martian. This is where we're headed, and we can see that because the universe is opening up. We can see if we look
Yeah.
in our reality, more people are tapping into holistic life more than ever. More people are becoming vegetarians. More people are becoming vegans. More women's circles are developing. More men are raised because not only are we becoming more awakened, The universe is at a time when the universe is opening those gateways of universal consciousness. So we're waking up whether we want to or not. We're changing the era. There used to be an era when there were dinosaurs, okay? There used to be the era of the dinosaurs, but we don't see any more dinosaurs because that era has passed. That era is over. Now we come to an era when there's been a lot of male aggression, the wars, the fighting, the killing, the shooting in the street, the negativity. But now that has to shift. Why? Because the feminine energy is coming up to balance it. We're coming up into our position, our post, and women are about love. Women bring forth life. Life is love. And as we bring our energy up, we balance out this other energy. And that's just happening not because we said so, it's happening because it's that time universally. You understand what I'm saying? And so we have to understand that we should not get caught up in the illusion of what's happening, and the of what's happening, but we should be focused on what we want to happen. That's what we've got to focus on. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we should definitely focus on what's coming for us, because that's why there's a lot of commotion right now, because we're raising our vibration, right? So as much commotion is going on, there's as much light that's rising.
Sure.
Let's just keep that in mind, and that's in all areas, and especially in love.
I think when you say that, it's like the mud, and it's like the lotus in the mud. We have to go through all of that mud for the lotus to come out. Remember, the lotus grows in mud. The lotus doesn't grow in clean water. The lotus grows in mud. And in this mud, we learn many things. We get tested. We elevate ourselves. We have to change our diet. This also comes with us making some changes. We have to do some, like our queen yesterday, Queen Yen, we have to do some discipline, because often we know what to do, but we have to do the work. We have to make the shift. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Word. Absolutely. And that's also what Jesus came to do. He taught us to not to, this like a codependency dynamic that can happen when we talk about. But he came to show us to be fishers of men. That means do the work. Do the work that's also within yourself. Do your work. Do your right. So then you can come forward into the world and show up and fish the other men. I love it. You spread your energy out to other people, and you shift the energy. So that's what he was teaching us, and we won't understand that if we don't understand that he has teachings of that he studied the teachings in Egypt as well. So,
exactly. Exactly.
So we was trying to say. So then it develops a kind of a codependency dynamic if you don't know his if you don't understand what he's saying.
Exactly. So it's do the work. It's do the work.
I mean, learn how to fish, and that includes working on ourselves.
Yes.
We have to do the work.
We have to do. There's no way to get around it but doing the work.
Right.
And we are the work. And when we think about the work, I have to bring this energy up. I think about our brother who talked to us through the movie, The Black Panther, and the movie taught us we have to strive for Black excellence. We have to raise our vibration. We have to raise up the energy of our lifestyle. We have to raise up our families. We have to unite. We have to also look to Africa, the mother. Wakanda Forever showed us that we have to focus on elevating ourselves and returning to our mother, Wakanda Forever. That was a code for us people. It was a code. We saw Black excellence. And that movie had such an effect on all of us because we saw the unity. We saw the efficiency. We saw the vision. We saw the future. We saw them in the motherland. We saw all the different tribes working in harmony. We saw the family. So there were so many things for us to bring forward to life again, and to not forget that brother came into life, and at a very young age, he transcended, but he brought us a message. Pull together and come into our excellence. And the way we bring excellence into our community and into our nation is we bring it through ourselves. We have to start with ourselves. And that is a challenge for us every day, to do the exercise, to drink the water, to be in prayer. We have our work cut out for us. You understand? Be in that mothership. Yes, and there's so much going, conflict, chaos, and confusion going on in this society around us, and we should not be distracted by these illusions, okay? But come into our own. You understand? And to our men out there, we need not be afraid of marriage, because when you marry a woman, you are saying that you want to build your empire. Many of us have heard about the Vanderbilts and the Kennedys. They had families. They built empires. I mean, we can run around as solo entities. I'm single and solo and solo and single. But what can you build by yourself?
Exactly. What are you building? What foundation are you building on your own? Okay, so when we're together, we go further,
Right.
right? Right, and we're building something that will last for generations and generations and generations.
Yes, yes, yes. This is what we're doing. We have to build, and we have to see the beauty of that. So any of us that are on this call, let's start putting that energy out. Let's start loving on ourselves. Women, love on yourselves. You know, many of you know Queen of Four's work. Do the work. Take your beauty baths. Get your massages. You know, give yourself the healing foods. Give yourself the alkaline water. Get your rest. Relax about the stress. Don't be stressing out there. Your stress kills your beauty. You know, your stress kills your beauty. You know, rely on the process of the divine. Be in alignment with the divine and see what the divine is telling us. Listen to our spirituality. Acknowledge our ancestors, the ones that came before us, that set the tone. Let us represent and reflect the best of ourselves. Because when you love yourself as a queen and you're absolutely fabulous and gorgeous and you're doing your work, it's going to be easier to attract that divine mate. Don't go looking, just be about your work. You know, Nefertiti didn't have to go looking for the king, but be about your work, be in your power, be in your beauty. Who doesn't want to be with a beautiful queen? And who doesn't want to be with a beautiful king? You know, and I know the men think they can have a woman here, there, but how do you build your house? How do you build your empire? How do you raise your children? You know, we have to understand having children is not going out of style. When you don't have children, you don't have any future. Your children are you 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now. You understand? So we have to see the honor in building family. In Africa, everything happens around the family.
Yes, that is true. That is true. And so I also wanted to say about Black love. You know, if you think of yourself as being love, then you can see what's happening or what happened with the programming that happened with Black people. But if you differentiate yourself and put in perspective that you are loved despite all this programming, you'll see that it's just programming. You know, not to undermine the pain of slavery and you know, we could go on and on and on, institutionalized slavery, but there's a lot of programming that's influencing the way the men are acting, the way the women are acting, the behavior. But if you are in your self, your power, your beauty, your like I said, fish for you, fish for who you really are. You are really loved, and you will see that this is just programming.
Illusion.
And then that you could go into a relationship knowing that you are loved, and you will attract love as well.
Ashe, Ashe. Don't be shy. Thank you, Jay. Yes, yes, yes. And you know, knowing who you are, I like to just mention on that point, I do GPS readings, and your GPS readings involve letting you know who you are and your purpose. And you know, whenever you're confident about where you come from and who you are, you move forward in the universe differently because you are clear about who you are. I encourage others also, get your ancestry.com, you know, find out where your lineage. Why would you might not want to know where your line comes from, just so you can have that information. These are the things that we should be doing. People, get your passports. We don't have to be locked into the city, into the state, into We know that they're trying to block us off around the world, but we don't have to be blocked in our mind. We should be prepared to travel whenever the time is right. Prepare yourself. Get your documents in order, your birth certificate, your social security card, your passport. Get your house in order. You understand? This part of the system is falling down. The other part is raising up. So we have to prepare. What's our navigation? What's our strategy? What are we planning for our future? Prepare ourselves. Definitely prepare ourselves. Yes. And prepare for marriage. Spring is a good time for marriage. Many of us, I'm speaking it with my Tahuti, with my Afro shit. I'm speaking it. Many of us will be getting married in the spring. To think is to create. Black love,
Yes.
Black people loving
That's
each other, embracing each other, honoring each other. What a beautiful sight, what a beautiful thought. I'm speaking it for our queens and our kings to come together in the royalty and the majesty. Spring weddings coming up. Please check into my sister in Chumbe. Get your African attire. Do your wedding. She does wedding gowns with a hint of African fabric. Get your white African attire, your wedding dress with the kente trimming, with the kente cloth trimming. You know, we remember the Wakanda vibe when we saw our culture dramatized because our culture is so rich, it's so beautiful. How can they contact you
yes.
in Chuba? How can they get in touch with you?
You can go to tumba.com. So that is NTUMBA, and then it repeats NTUMBA.com. That's tumba.com. NTUMBA, NTUMBA.com. Say hi,
Yeah, in there.
Pop.
Come, they should come in there and let you know if you have, because you know when you deal with a wedding, it's something you have to plan for. Let people know if you're planning for something. If you've been with your mate 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, I mean, the ceremony. Bring the ceremony in Africa. Bring the marriage. You've been with in a relationship for so many years. What about the ceremony? The ceremony is that day that we honor the woman, we honor the man, because women, you know, basically most of it's just about the work. As women, we work a lot. We work for the family, we work for the children, we work for our mates, we put a lot of work out in just in a day. Women, that's why they say a woman's work is never done because we always have more work to do. So if this is going to be the position of the woman in the map, all this work, then we deserve to have that day when we come out in our attire and the community celebrates us and the families come to celebrate and the king acknowledges this is my queen and she acknowledges this is my king and we have that day for ceremony to acknowledge our union. It's a respectful thing. It's a thing of honor and majesty and we respect the marriage. We respect the family. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to bring your unions together and unite the families so we can begin to build our nation. Yes. Ashe.
Okay, so I put it in tumba.com. I just typed it in. And another thing I wanted to mention for the men, okay, now this is, I don't want to stereotype the men, but this is where we're going towards now. When as we rise to the fifth dimension, you know, our bodies will, like, our bodies will become like our clothing, okay? So as opposed to looking, I know looks count, yeah, but also look for the deeper side. You know, like in our culture, you know, in Africa, where we all come from, all right, our culture, you can see societies, people walking naked, okay? Naked, but the body's respected. And it doesn't mean anything. It is no sexual, nothing is sexualized. The body is not sexualized, you know, and usually I have a urge to just walk around naked myself, but I can't do that in this society. You understand, in this society, and a lot of things are sexualized. You watch your videos and all this and that, you'll see sexualized. So guys, you know, if you want to get married, you know, be sure you go beyond just the physical appearance. Okay, women do that too. I understand. I understand. So be sure you activate your mate by going inwards and not focus so much on the appearance. Okay.
Things. You want something deeper. And that was a good point you made, because there are places in Africa where you'll see the women feeding their babies. They don't have any tops on. They're just feeding their babies with their breasts out. And nobody thinks of that as sexual. They just think of that as natural. So, that's a mindset. And here, like you said, we sexualize the body so much, and the way the building and the way that we wear the clothing is all sexualized, but that's just the physical plane. And as you said, we must go deeper. We have to have something deeper, because if the relationships are just physical, there's no depth, there's no understanding, there's no foundation. So we've got to build deeper. We've got to build that spiritual relationship. And we do that first by being that spiritual person ourselves, working on our purpose, and then being in a zone, in the dimension, to attract that higher love, that agape love, that twin flame love, that soulmate love.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Something we can get into. I just want to thank you for coming on this call with me,
Oh,
and just opening up this topic, because we are opening up the topics. We're opening up the energy for people to think about this information, and meditate on it, and let it go into our being. Let us digest, because this is what we want for our people. Yes, can we ask questions? Yes, go ahead and ask questions. Someone has questions for us. Yes, please
okay.
go ahead and ask questions. Okay, yes, she said other ones take our bodies, and they just look at it as lust. But when we do our work, we just don't get caught up in lust. That's just because that's just a lower level, and we must go beyond that. And as women, that's why also when we present ourselves in the society, we can be sensual, and we can do it in a way that's respectful and dignified, not just in a lusty sexual way. Because when we appear in the society in a lusty sexual way, that's pretty much what we attract. Okay, so
Yes.
let's understand, if we walk around in a just lusty, sexy look, when men come up to us, that's all that they're looking at, because that's what we're presenting to them. So they don't even have time to tap into our mind, our intelligence, our spirituality. If we're just coming from a lusty place, that's what we're going to attract. So let's be mindful of how we present ourselves as queens. We are beautiful. Oh, yes, we are beautiful, my beloveds. And we can be sensual. Oh, yes, we can be sensual, but we don't have to be in that lusty sexual vibe, because that's all that we are going to attract to ourselves. And that's not all what we want. The whole picture. We want the physical, the spiritual, the mental. There's so many layers to a woman, and we have to also let that be known in our carriage, how we present ourselves. Yes.
Yes.
Question. So with twin flame love, how to hold space if your partner isn't ready, meaning evolve? What if your partner isn't evolved yet?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that happens a lot with twin flames. There's different stages in twin flames. There is a stage where there's a chasing, right? There's a chasing. That's because someone is still shedding the third dimension.
Okay. Okay.
Someone is shedding the third dimension. Now, if it happens to be your partner, um, you have to not put any you have to not put any chasing energy as well.
Restriction.
You have to let
Yeah.
it's very difficult, but you have to give them the space they need. Whatever boundaries you're setting, let them be, and go into yourself and see what's triggering you about their behavior.
Mm,
Right? It's always about going into yourself, and that's why you made a pact, so you can trigger each other to see, oh well, why am I triggered by this behavior?
mm-hmm. Yes. So we say, just don't try to chase them. Remember, it's a spiritual thing. And you can connect with them
Right.
in the dreams. You can connect with them in the spirit. But it's not about chasing on this physical plane. It's about knowing. And knowing that sooner or later, those energies will come together because that is the destiny. That was the commitment.
Right.
That was the commitment you made. And sooner or later, that comes back around. Yes.
Right.
Ashe.
Comes back like
Mm-hmm.
different.
Yes.
That is one of the stages. You are correct,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
but it's like well, the spirit plane is really difficult to interpret it in the
Physical way.
and
Yes, yes.
physical plane, because the physical plane is duality. The spirit plane is non-duality. So basically, what your partner is telling you is look into yourself and see what's triggering you about this type of behavior. We made a pact to do that. It's all about going back to who we really are, and this is the way I'm showing you.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's a fear. Sometimes it's the fear because of what things look like, of what we learned, of what the society is saying. All of those things are going to be the conflict. It's going to be. It's also hurtful as well. Exactly. But and as she said, the third plane, the third dimension is the physical world where there's the hurt and there's the conflict. But in the fifth dimension of spirituality, there is no hurt. There is no blockage. There is no limitation. So we have to rise our vibration up where we are in the spirit of infinite reality. That's the Most High.
Right.
It's very powerful.
Yeah.
Very, very
Yeah.
hard journey. Yes.
Yeah.
Someone asked
Yes,
about African clothing. I asked about African
artist.
clothing. Someone was asking about the African clothing.
Oh.
Can you give them
Okay,
any insight on that African clothing or where they can get African clothing?
Oh, okay. Well, you can come to my website.
You can come to her website.
And
Yes.
have plenty of African clothing companies, African patterns, and they're really hot right now,
Oh.
Especially after Wakanda, right? Black Panther. So if you just Google African African store, African patterns, African fabric near me, you'll see a lot of things pop up.
Yes, Chumbe. Yeah, Chumbe. Yeah, they'll still see things in your website. Yes.
Yes, and you'll see definitely in my website is tumbatumba.com. That's NTUMBA.com.
Ashe, yes. And this is Queen Esther. I can be seen at the mooncall.com, and I focus on the moon call. I focus on the full moon forum, where I strive to bring people together around the moon. You know, we have many different spiritual houses. We live in different states. We live in different countries. We have so many differences, but everybody saw that big full moon the other night. Yeah. So I want nature to bring us together. It's not about my opinion, your opinion, my belief, your belief. Nature is reality. And if we build around nature, we will have a place to meet, to share with each other, to learn from each other, to get our updates, our navigation, and just to check in with each other. Where are we and where do we go from here? Yes. Chumbe, I'd like to thank you for coming on to this call with us. I think we are opening up some dialogue. We're opening up some conversation about our love, because many of us had almost given up on love. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. There are no men left. You know, we have all these different, all of this. Give thanks. So definitely we have to know that love is still alive, and the Most High is love, and there's no shortage of love. And when we start loving on ourselves deeper and doing our purpose work, like I said, I do my GPS readings to help you figure out what is your purpose, and you can order your readings at themooncall.com. Tells you what direction you're coming from, what you signed up to do. Your GPS is your galactic purpose signature. You signed up. You signed up for work. What is that work? And when you hear it given to you, then you can say, now I can just do it fully, because you're confirmed and you're confident. Now you can move forward in your work without worrying about what that person's saying or that person's saying. This is me, and you can go full force into your purpose. Just like I'm in my purpose right now. My purpose is to what? To love you, to communicate, to wake up, to hear. Y'all know I'm on my purpose. This is what I do. This is what I love to do, and I do it confidently. I do it continuously. I do it consistently, because I'm on purpose. I'm doing my work, and that's how we have to do our work, all the way live. Chumbe, we want to get those weddings booked. Let Chumbe get your next wedding. She will have the work for the bride. She will have the look for the bridesmaids. We're going to get work for the kings. We're going to get it cranking. So thank you, Chumbe, for coming on. Thank you, Aku.
Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you for getting your readings. ChumbeChumbe.com. Ashe. This is Queen Esther. mooncall.com. I will look for you all. And again, let's stay in love, y'all. Let's get this love thing going on. Let's take it to the next level. We will see you all, and we give thanks for everyone coming on the call. In the name of love, Wakanda forever, love who you are, love your culture, rock your culture, be in love, be in tune and in line with the divine, and let all your dreams come into manifestation, and including your true love, your soulmate, your twin love, and let's go ahead and build our future. In what? In the name of love. Thank you, and give thanks and praises. Thank you, Chumbe Chumbe. Ashe. See you next time. Peace and love. Ashe. Give thanks.